It's Rick here again, our second video of my vlog series. And before I begin with today's topic, I would like to comment on this beautiful day. Check this out. Beautiful, beautiful day today. I mean, we get so much smog here in China that whenever you can even see the blue sky and some clouds, man, it's a luxury. It's definitely a blessing. So today's a good day, and I definitely appreciate it, you know. But let's get right to it. I want to make this video as a response video to the racism in China videos. There's this, I don't know, there's this rumor going around in the West that Chinese people are racist against black people. And I'll talk about my experience, you know, being an African American, living in China. I'll tell you about my experience and let you guys make up your own decisions from there. The question is, are Chinese people racist? No, not really. Not the same way that white people in America are racist. Not from my experience. It hasn't been that way. I'll tell you about my experience in the U.S. In the U.S., I've experienced racism, but my experience with racism, especially with white people, has been fueled by this hatred, this anger, that they just look at you as less than or subhuman. A bit terrifying, actually. I've had a gun pointed at me 5 times in my life. Had a gun put to my head. I'm not in a gang. I've never been involved in anything illegal, selling drugs or anything like that. I have a clean criminal record, nothing like that. And all 5 times I had a gun put to my head. It was done by a police officer. Broad daylight in the middle of the afternoon. And I was completely unarmed. And, you know, I did what I was supposed to do. I didn't argue, I didn't fight back or anything like that. But I still got a gun pointed to my head. Now in China, I don't ever experience anything like that. You know, when I see police officers in the US, they scare me. I don't look at them as people here to protect and serve, but I look at them as almost like a gang. Not all police officers are bad. There are good cops, but there are bad cops as well. And the bad cops, they tend to get away with things. And when I see a law enforcement agent in the States, I don't feel safe. But here in China, when I see a law enforcement agent, I feel safe. You know, that's been my experience. And another thing is the type of hatred and anger that I experience from racists in America is not the type of experience that I get here in China. Now, Chinese, on the other hand, in terms of racism, their racism is more of an ignorance. And I don't even know if you can even consider it racism, because the reason why China or Chinese people are the way they are, and I'm talking about mainland China, by the way, we need to consider the fact that this country has been shut off from the rest of the world like no other. These people don't have access to Google. They don't have access to any information. Their government completely brainwashed these people. The only thing they know is what they see on TV. A lot of Chinese people don't even know anything about the slave trade. In fact, many Chinese people don't even think there's black people in America. They think America's all white people. They don't know anything, and it's not their fault. So you can't really blame them for their behavior, their views of things, when they don't have access to the same information that we have. This country has been shut off from the whole world. The whole world. For like, what, the past 60 years even? And they just barely just started opening up, and they don't have Google. They don't have anything. Right? So their racism isn't really racism. It isn't like they view you as less than human or they hate you or anything like that. There isn't any sort of anger or animosity towards black people. They just, in general, Chinese people culturally, because of their political situation and their economic and social situation, they're not used to dealing with anything different or anything new, anything unfamiliar. I mean, it's not just towards black people, but even towards white people. They can be a bit bit strange. They don't really know how to deal with people who are different than them or anything that is different from them. Even if it's not even people, but it could be music, movies, or even simple as ideas or styles or anything like that. They're not used to anything different. So, I mean, we got to understand that before we can start calling Chinese people racist. You guys got to understand their situation here. They don't have access to anything. They don't have access to the rest of the world. So they don't really know anything. Another thing that we need to consider is we need to consider the fact that, you know, people, if we keep pumping out the certain garbage that we pump out in the media, the people who see that is going to form people's opinions. So we really need to be careful about what we put on television, what we put on movies. And what you put on TV and what you put on movies, some people start to believe that as truth. So we really need to be careful about what we put on TV. But I'm going to wind this video down and just wind this video down. Just from my personal experiences in China, I don't experience a lot of racism. I experience some ignorance, and it's not necessarily because I'm black, but it's just ignorance in terms of just the way their view of the world and how things work. And it has to do with their lack of access to information. Are Chinese people rude to me? No. Have I had a lot of bad experiences from Chinese people? No. I actually have a lot of Chinese friends. And there's a lot of Chinese people, if anything, they're more curious about people who are different from them. I mean, you find a lot of people who are extremely curious and want to know more about you. And they'll come up to you and they'll want to be your friend. And then I've had Chinese people walk up to me and just start random conversations with me because I'm a foreigner, because they would like to know more about me and what I'm about. And in terms of dating, I'm actually doing a lot better in dating here in China than I did in the US. So just to keep this simple, to break it down for you guys as simple as I can, is before we could start calling people racist and start throwing words around, we really need to understand the social and political situation of things before we start throwing words around like that. So I just want to nip this in the butt, let you guys know my view. And again, people, just pay attention. Educate yourself, read a book, and pay attention to what's going on in things socially and historically before you guys start judging people and forming opinions. That's for today's video. I see you guys next time, and take care. Many blessings, fam. Peace.